Now, in spite of the deal between the federal government, Labour and the organised private sector to fix the minimum wage at 70,000 naira, most states appear to be non-committal about the agreement. While many states have resolved to do further consultations before taking a decision, others prefer to wait for other states to make a move before they decide on the next step. Some states insist that it's unrealistic for them to pay the 70,000 naira minimum wage. Recall that the Nigeria Labour Congress had insisted on a minimum of 250,000 naira before reaching an agreement with the government. Are the states ready to adjust to this new reality? Joining us in the studio is convener Campaign for Dignity and Governance, Razak Olokoba. We also have in the studio with us is public affairs analyst Ewinla Mustafa. Gentlemen, welcome to TBC Breakfast this morning.
Good morning.
Right, so 70,000 naira finally, because the Nigeria Labour Congress, if you hear them, what they believe that the president would have signed 100,000 naira, save for some governors who actually prevailed on the president, for them to now peg it at 70,000 naira. However, the NLC may be on collision course with some of the governors if they fail to honor this agreement. Do you think?
Well, thank you very much for having me. We have to first commend the president for looking for a way out to sort it out, because what we'll have been expecting or witnessing in another 1 or 2 weeks is another down-tooling, which is having a lot of impact on the economy of the nation. So we praise the president for the strategy he adopted to make Labour accept that. It must also be fair to say that Labour has also done well by accepting that wages. Labour is a very smart institution, the Labour leaders. They have been there for a long time. The strategy they adopted is in negotiation, is making out outrageous demand. Whereas you have to appear serious to give the impression at the people on the table that you are committed to that outrageous demand. So that if your benchmark is even 50,000 naira, now it has come to 70,000. And I know very well that that was not where Labour was going. Labour was not going to 600,000 naira. Labour was actually coming to 60 or 70. So they won. And the tax to look for the money to pay is now on board. And that is why I warn many Nigerians who are recommending 200,000, 300,000 that emotion is not what you use to fix wages. It's the economic reality that should guide you. So where we go to now is state and federal government and local government. Federal government has done its own homework and is thinking of how to sustain the payment. But for state, in fairness, a lot of states may find it difficult to pay. A lot of states, if not all the states, may find it difficult to pay. And that is why we must be ready for intervention between Labour and the governors in all the states. We might say that many governors have not handled the fund they have gotten since 1990. They have not handled it well, because the rainy days will soon be over, where people will stare face to face with reality. Federal government is getting to a point where states will be compelled to go and fend for themselves, which is the normal standard anywhere in the world. So this is one of the issues that is going to come up, that there must be true and genuine federalism. Let states decide the pace they want to move. Such that the Labour leaders in their state to tell anybody asking for wages, you say, no, we know the economy of our own state. We must get to that point where it will be the Labour that will be recommending that, you know what you are doing in our state. The prices of our commodities is fine. We can't compare it to Lagos. So anybody, any 5,000 naira a year is okay and it's living better life than someone collecting 7,000 naira in Lagos. So we are fine. So we may have to begin to prepare to come in between Labour as a civil society and as Nigerians. Otherwise, you will just be seeing strikes in some of the states.
Right. Mustafa, let me come to you for your opening statements. Yeah. The haggling had been, let's say the haggling is over. Now they pegged it at 70,000 there. I don't know whether it actually met your expectations, one, and two, what is the next line of worry, for you vis-a-vis states' ability to pay?
Okay, so really and truly, I must say that Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has done excellently well for him to have intervened very timely, because we've seen all the threat from NLC in the past few weeks that they're going to shut down the system again and all that. So I think that the president has done so well, but my biggest worry is already at the states, governors. I'll say it clearly, the state governors are not ready, but they will comply. Because as civil servant at the...
When you say the state governors are not ready,
yes.
Are you referring to all of the states?
So I can say categorically that 24 states are not ready.
Okay.
And about 11 states are ready.
Yeah, because Lagos State is already there.
So Lagos is there, Kano is ready, and all that. But the honest truth is, my worry is the 24 other states who are struggling to pay salaries. What is the way forward for them? These are states who constantly borrow to pay salaries. And we know that the side effect of borrowing to pay salaries is not far-fetched. So I think that what should be the focal point of discussion now is, instead of borrowing to pay salaries, what are the other interventions? What are the other ways of generating funds internally for these states who struggle to pay salaries? Now, we've clamored that a lot of states should try and get themselves industrialized. Open up your state, make it investment attractive, so foreigners can come and, you can open up your state. Lagos State has done so well in that area. Kano has done well. Ogun has done well. But how about the rest, the fate of Jigawa and all that who struggle, Yobe, who struggle to pay salaries? So in all honesty, for those who are students of history, the president has done well, NLC, TUC, fantastic, they've all done well. If you look at the history of minimum wage was traced back to 1991 when we started with 125 naira. Then we moved to 5,005, we moved to 8,000, we moved to 30,000. So now, 70,000 naira, I think is a very good time to be alive as a Nigerian worker. And I think that's way forward again. How do we continue to salvage this situation such that we don't constantly borrow to pay salaries?
Some workers might disagree with you because they will say 70,000 naira cannot even buy them a bag of rice.
Just like somebody jokingly said that you can only buy a bag of rice. But again, a bag of rice or not, progress is a slow and steady process. Rome wasn't built in a day. We got here after a very long time. It took us almost four decades to get to 70,000 naira. So it's a matter of time. Things will get more better with the input of the president.
So based on what he said, things will get better, looking at, the progression. But if you look at the progression, inflationary pressures, cost of commodities, goods and services and all of that, and then people are advocating, listen, it's not about you increasing the minimum wage. It's about you fixing the economic problems, the economic woes we're facing by bringing down the price of, these things, and then we'll have enough money.
That's where I was coming to. First, but many Nigerians have addiction for creating problems for all the solutions we have. Minimum wage is not meant for someone who has 2 wives, 7 children. It's a beginner. It's hard for a beginner. So what will a beginner be doing with a bag of rice in his house? The beginner has a moderate food that he's going to eat for the month. He needs to plan in himself. So it's not as if minimum wage is meant for someone who has spent 10 years or 20 years in service. No. It's the lowest cadre of the civil service.
Yeah.
So the blackmail that is not enough is an attempt to plot us against the government. We must establish the capacity of our government. At this moment, if the president attempts to pay 100,000 naira, we are going to enter into a big problem. And economics are warning that don't push this government to a point where it's going to become comatose, where infrastructure, power sector, security, everything will not be able to attend to except paying salaries of a civil servant. Don't let us get to that point. So Nigerians will open up their the capacity to be able to think about the way forward. So pushing government too much for recurring expenditure is dangerous. Having said that, Lagos has taken a lead in what I expect the government to compel labor to do. The transport operators in Lagos has assured that they are not going to increase their price. They didn't just say that, though. The civil society played a role. Government played a role. They bring them to the table. That's a union. We want to see landlord associations too. We want to see the power sectors too. We want to see all the people that are involved in the essential life of our life, the food, to do something about taming the price surge. Because according to reports, before the price increase, it was said that 80% of Nigeria, between 70 to 80% of Nigeria seek for unconventional means to survive, which means their salary is not enough. And if something is not done, if salary is increased and something is not done about taming the prices of commodities, I don't think that Nigeria will be able to feed himself with his salary. So what we recommend is that the federal government should call the labor back. It's not yet Uhuru. We accuse labor. I'm one of the who accuse labor that you are only interested in your check of dues. If you are not only interested in your check of, why are you not interested in controlling prices? They say it's not that. I say it's their business. They have unions. Lagos State has demonstrated it to be the transport union. NSC, TUC, and other agencies, we are willing to work with them. Let's bring all the manufacturers to the table. Let's bring the association to the table and talk to them in a very patriotic manner. In such a way that they will understand the importance of, it's a national issue. Otherwise, very soon we'll be talking about palliatives. Very soon we'll be talking about subsidies.
You've actually
can we begin to turn in that circle? So if you don't take the right turn now, we are coming back to talk about subsidy, palliatives. Then as a nation, when are we going to be talking about going to the moon? When are we going to be talking about industrializing our nation? When are we going to remove that stigma on us that we have become a burden to humanity? We recycle products that has been phased out in other countries. Face me, I face the
You've actually raised very.
It's not used in other countries again, but we still demand for it. Why? Because standard of living is still low. So to improve standard of living is a collective responsibility. You cannot leave the table for the president or the government alone. You have to be on the table with the president. So let's wear our thinking cap. Labor should wear thinking cap if you ask the love of the workers at heart.
Interesting developments.